welcome everyone here to our next episode of our Changing Lives web series, where we explore the journey of WordPress developers from around the world and how Codeable has impacted their careers and their lives. We have a very special guest with us today. These Changing Lives episodes are always a really star-studded lineup, and today is no exception at all. We have Marcel here with us today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Hey, Andy. How are you doing? All good?
Yeah, I'm really good. Look, just before we get started, and you can sort of tell everyone a bit about your backstory, do you just want to kind of get things started? Is there something you want to share that maybe made you smile this week?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I think this is a family show, right? So I have to keep
Absolutely.
my options. Um,
Yes.
no, I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe something related to my son. He got a straight A in maths in his last test. That made me smile.
Excellent. Look, you know what? I have met your son, and he's a very smart boy. You should be very, very proud indeed.
Thank you.
All right, so you know what? Let's get started. And the first thing, first things first, is I guess if you wanted to tell everyone a little bit about your sort of how you first started getting into websites and yeah,
Oh, okay. You want to go way back
yes,
in time
all
then?
all the way back.
Wow. All right. So we land in 1998 then. That was when I got my first job as a web developer. Um, that was what, 36 years ago, 30, yes, something.
Ooh,
Well,
yes.
and it was something that I never thought about doing really when I started working for this company. I knew I wanted to do something related to programming. I wanted to do something related to um, helping people with their businesses and like sort of taking care of the tech side for them. It was back then an era where we had the internet for maybe 10 years or so. Um, and we did have, well, not 10 years. Actually, the internet was like 5 years or 6 years into the expanding around the world. And we did have like this first client who came in and said, yeah, I need a website. And back then it was actually very simple to create a website. You would just open the notepad and just type away and just save it in some server and attach it to domain. That was it.
Yes,
Way easier than today.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then basically the whole thing just escalated from there. Clients came in. This was in a company that was hired to work for. I was getting into my first year in college as well while I was accepting this work, and that sort of like made me a little bit join less activities in the university and more do more things related to the work. And then I just fell in love with creating programs, creating applications, creating websites that will help businesses on the tech side of it. And yeah, just one thing led to the other, and then eventually Microsoft was very big back then, so .NET was a thing. ASP was the yeah, Microsoft version of PHP. And then it slowly transitioned into other platforms, other languages, and somewhere around 2009, 2010, maybe, WordPress came into the equation. And it was not an immediate like thing that we did. It start working with WordPress, but then by that time I was done with working for other people and I wanted to create my own agency. That's when I started to create my first company.
Hmm.
Um, back then we did more hardware than software. Then I created a second one, which was more exclusively software and websites. And then I created a third one, which was the last one I had, where I had 8, 9 people working for me. Um, and yeah, and it's basically just a lifelong ambition to help people, businesses strive online and have everything just running smooth, being with the latest technology available. And yeah, that's basically a little bit about the background. So I was born in Brazil. I came to Portugal very early on. So my whole experience as a teenager and as a a grown-up was basically around the Portuguese community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then eventually also mobile applications
Oh, yes,
went
of
into the
course.
mix,
Yeah.
right? I delivered some of the first iOS client apps for Flickr and for Dropbox back then, and yeah, it was really nice having then both situations going on, which basically respond to the same thing, right? Helping businesses with their tech side
Yes.
of things. Yeah, that's a little bit of my background. Nowadays, I'm an expert at Codeable. I have my own agency. I have been very busy with work, and I just love everything that is happening right now with WordPress and
Yes,
everything around it.
absolutely. It's super exciting. And so you said you joined Codeable. How many years have you worked on the
Oh,
platform?
wow. Okay. So it has to be, it was in May 2016. So that was almost 10 years ago now. And yeah, it was something that I was looking for online for lead opportunities to get some more clients. I was searching around. I saw also other platforms that offered similar services, but Codeable immediately caught my eye because of the WordPress connection,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
and the whole 2-3 minutes that I got to read about Codeable and to understand how Codeable works, immediately put Codeable at the top of the list and trying to get a hold of who's Codeable, who's working for Codeable, how do I get in? And yeah, back then it was pretty fun because it was kind of like interesting to get into a platform where clients would just show up on a list and you could pick from a list and reply to them and try to make businesses that way. Still is like that today with more or less changes, but that particular part of like, okay, now I have access to this platform that I not only have other people like me working there and that I have access to, I can start conversations and have discussions, but also this other side where the client trusts the people that the platform picked to work with, and the access to those clients, and see how many different challenges different people have from different parts of the world, right?
And so, what would you say some of your biggest challenges you faced sort of early on in your career?
It was definitely to get to know more about the technical side of the thing that I was working on. For example, um, getting to know about how the tech side of ASP or .NET or IIS or some of other Microsoft tools that we had back then to spin up websites, getting into a new framework or platform, learning about how it works and connecting to people. Those were probably a little bit more the challenges that I had at the beginning. Um, because I don't know, back then the internet was not that filled with information like it is today, right? So if you go 20 years back and you wanted to know how things worked, you had to invest a little bit more time in investigating and finding out. Um, I never had challenges talking to people, meeting clients, making conversations. That was something that was already natural there. I have some background in music as well and performing in concerts and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's related to the fact that I'm easy with talking to people.
Hmm.
But yeah, the technical part of it and just getting access to documentation back then was very challenging.
All right. And so you said you've been on Codeable for almost 10 years. So I have to ask, how did you first hear about working on Codeable?
Codeable, yeah. It was an online search. So I was searching for other platforms that did provide agencies and a way for you to connect and to have your work announced, your availability, sort of like where do we can we expand our client network, and where can we eventually get some work to get us going with our nearly formed agency back then. And yeah, just Codable was just an online search. I found about it, and like I said before, I read the concept, and I'm like, okay, forget the other ones. This is the one that I'm more interested in applying.
And look, I know the screening process can be a tough process. I mean, I know the process now in 2025 it isn't so easy. But what was the screening process like for you all those years ago.
Okay. So when you talk to experts that are on the platform for almost 10 years now, you probably will hear different experiences about how the onboarding process was or
Absolutely.
the screening process. Um, Back then, Codeable was still very much growing and in need for having experts to work with the platform, right? So what I can remember exactly from back then was something like, obviously, there was an interview, there was a conversation. Coda was trying to find out exactly what you do, what are you good at, what are your skills, and the uh, the whole thing was just about like, here's 30 days for you to try it out,
Yep.
and after 30 days we will talk again, and then we'll see with where you stand and if you're able or good enough, let's say, to be uncodable or not. And yeah, it was amazing because that felt like, all right, so I had 30 days to prove myself. I like the challenge.
Yep.
Let's do it. And I mean, it was up to you, right? If you are in thinking about tricking the system and thinking, making others believe that you know a certain area or you have expertise in certain areas that you don't have that. And it's 30 days is you can figure that out, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
everyone can figure that out. And the same thing the other way. So if you're really good at it and you have 30 days, it's more than enough for you to show if you're good at the specific skill.
Do you still know and have a good memory of what your first project was on Codable?
Oh wow,
Yeah, I
that's a
know
great question.
it's a hard question, especially for
Wow.
someone as experienced as you.
But my
So,
first project was in April 2016, and it says I need to migrate a website from Yahoo stores to WooCommerce store on the same domain. That was my first project. 5 stars.
of
It
course,
was
of
a
course.
it was not a cheap work. So for a first task, it was very close to $5,000 back then. It was, yeah. You see how fast I fell in love with Quotable. You
Absolutely.
definitely can imagine. And then it was WooCommerce related performance actually back then already. Extended search search with a custom plugin. Yeah, all of that was then pretty clear that those little adaptations and little kind of extensions and work and plugin that you do for these different clients, how far they can go and how you can help them around their businesses. That's what caught my like. That's what gives one like us the pleasure to do the work that we do every day, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, look, the standard of the clients is just so high, and that kind of leads into the next question I had, where I want to ask what the difference between working on Codable is with sort of other freelancing platforms.
Well, okay, so you're probably asking the wrong guy about that because immediately when I got access to Codable, I had the reply back from these other two platforms where we were trying to get in. One of them was TopTal, and the other one I can't remember what it was. But the experience that I had with TopTal was it felt like I was in a university and I had to do my final exam after studying there for 3 years. And so
Yes,
they
that's true,
put me
actually.
with like with
Yes.
very complex questions about maths and algorithm and stuff that I was like, I've been doing this work for 20 years now, and you're asking me questions that I never had to answer or use or show that I have knowledge of in all the work that I've done so far. Why are you complicating this kind of screening process?
Hmm.
And so I felt immediately like, all right, this is super gated. You don't absolutely care about previous experience or whatever you say you are. You just have to prove you're super, super smart. And then eventually you do whatever you do best here in the platform. And so completely the opposite was with Codable, right? So,
Yes,
all right.
absolutely.
So
Yes.
you we trust you. Let's save this 30 days and see what we can do. And I actually was looking here in this first 30 days. It was 5 tasks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks, all of them with 5 stars. So it was pretty clear that we knew what we were doing.
No, it's look, it's a really great platform for sure compared to others. I mean, not throwing any other platforms under the bus, but the one thing I do love about being on Codeable is the community. And so, yeah, how have you found the community in general?
The best community out there. Quote me on that. Through the rest of my experience uh, life so far, I've never encountered. Okay, so it's kind of like, yeah, sure, you're doing a podcast for Codable and you're talking about your experience with Codable. Oh, sure, you're going to say the community is the best one in Codable. Yeah, okay, if you think like that, then that's fine. You can go with it. But if you don't think and you're really interested into knowing why, is just because the amount of friends and connections and people that I met throughout this all years, um, it almost feels like you're in your childhood and you meet your first friends in the neighborhood for the first time, and you so much see how they are similar to you in multiple kinds of situations, and the things they think about and the things they do and etc. They're so similar to you that it feels truly like uh, you're in this new neighborhood you just moved in and you're a child and have your bicycle and just, yeah, strolling around and trying to make some friends. It was kind of like the same feeling at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
Where you go
absolutely.
ahead
Yeah.
and meet these new people that are like-minded, and uh, yeah, and then the rest is just as meeting every year and just consolidating all of this. I think it's very important for you to meet uh, community-wise people in person.
Yes,
And
I also think so as well. I mean, look, I could say I've had the pleasure of working with you, and this would only be possible. I mean, I'm a Codable expert, and so are you. So the chances of us meeting outside of that would be extremely small.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I also would say that it's an incredible community for sure. So,
Mhm.
I mean, so the kind of next and I guess really important part is how Codable has kind of changed your life. And I guess first we'll start on a professional, like,
Professional. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, professionally changed the way that I've envisioned how one can work with different clients in a way that is um, kind of uh, delivering solutions that you architected and solved problems, but at the same time you created these connections, and some of the clients still contact you today, and you feel like you've built a bond or a connection with them. So I've never thought professionally that I could connect to so many people and have them feel satisfied about my work, as opposed to, for example, the work that we used to do previously, which was actual contact local companies around our region and just meet those people and those businesses. But it's a different kind of feeling because they were mostly looking for a complete website, or they were looking at setting up Outlook on their computers, things like that. It was not that much about, oh, there's a little detail here that if you could help me fix this or implement this, it would immensely help our business. So the whole understanding about how these leads and connections enrich your professional life in a way that you feel accomplished and really helpful, that's what Codable made me realize through these years.
And I guess the next part is on a personal level.
Travel was big. I mean, the freedom, although you're responsible for your whole time, and I was already kind of like with my previous business, but the thing that changed a little bit here was more about giving up that structure of 8, 10, 12 people working on different client work and you're just there managing, versus to, okay, let's reduce the team. Maybe you're just alone or you have another person working with you, and you kind of have more time to make more decisions that are either I would like to work more, I would like to work less, I would like to be more with family, or so that the whole freedom that creates around you making easier decisions that could impact you personally more than suppose let's suppose on this agency kind of like environment where we have all these people to pay a salary at the end of the month. Um, it's certainly it's definitely impacted me in a way that the lifestyle that I had before was work, 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 work,
Mm-hmm.
and nowadays it's not. Although it's kind of like tendentially going more towards work than anything else, just because I just love what I do. Um, the whole existence of Codeable just gave me the opportunity to taste a little bit more about that freedom that you get for deciding what's next and what you're going to do and things like that.
All right, and look, is there any standout project that kind of really has stuck with you over the years?
There are maybe 3 or 4 of them, but there's one that I really loved. It was funny enough. I won't name one that had the where the tech part of it was the most fun to do or more experience. Actually, the one that if I have like 5 seconds and I cannot think any more other of any other project than this one. We once did a WooCommerce website for a lady in India that was selling books, and she was just starting out, and she had a huge collection that her family collected, and she wanted to slowly sell those books, but for like very cheap. I can't remember, it was $1 or $2 or something like that. But the challenge was like I wanted to uh, collect all the books and catalog them and give them a name and description, etc. And I wanted people to be able to pay for them. And initially, she wanted to give them for free, so you would just go in and collect some books and then do that. But then shipping got hard to deal with, and said, okay, so I'm just going to charge $1 or $2, and its shipping is included, etc. And when we went to the staging part of the project, we actually did some test orders, and we were through a bunch of normal things you do on the staging environment, and then to go to production. And we actually ordered some books, and we actually put our Portuguese address in these tests,
Yeah.
and the lady actually shipped us all the books that we tested throughout the whole project. And when we got the books, we said, "Oh, there was a mistake. Probably someone from your staff didn't understand." She said, "No, it was meant to be. You guys helped me a lot. I hope you enjoyed the books. They are a gift from us."
Oh,
And it was something like, okay, so that can happen as well. I say if they're really happy with the work that you've done, and they really enjoyed the relationship, the conversations, and all of that. I mean, that's really nice that that can happen. So that for me was like the one project that really stood out. Like, okay, there's a human person on the other side as well who maybe also care about or appreciate the work that you do. So
yeah, that's super sweet. So, if someone is out there listening to this and they're sort of on the fence about whether they should apply to be an expert on Codeable, what advice would you give that person?
I would probably, before submitting an application, think about what is exactly your plan for the next years. What do you want to do? Are you more of a person who likes to have other people tell you what you need to do in certain situations, or are you more of a person that would like to conduct the technical side of whatever clients are asking you to do? Because when you show that you're capable of leading technologically a problem, or implementing a solution that needs a firm opinion and a firm statement about how this works and what do you need to do and what is the path, if you have that in you, I mean, Codeable is exactly the place for you to be and do that, because the opportunity is just simply there, right?
Absolutely.
Uh, it's not just enough for you to be technically absolutely a master in what you do. The will to help other people communicate, invest time and understand and talk and be nice and etc. People say, oh, it's 50-50, but probably it's more about your soft skills than actually the technological skills. And so if you like that challenge, if you like to approach a client and say, okay, so tell me what's your challenge, what do you want to do, and be more about connecting and experiencing that exchange first, then rather like, oh, how much money can I make with this task, you definitely should join, and you will create special connections and special relationships. And and that's the first part. The second part is obviously all the people that are that make the community. So consider applying if you really would like to. If you have this like idea of I want to help people out, right? That's super important.
All right, and I just have one last main question, and is sort of like, how would you say that Codeable can improve, or is there any advice give if the founder, who I'm sure he is out there listening to this? So, what advice would you give to him?
It's kind of like a little bit unfair for me after all these years to give advice, because whatever happened to Codeable throughout this last 10 years was already pretty amazing. And it's kind of like unjust for me to come and be part of Codeable after all these 10 years and say, oh, this is what you can do better, because it's hard, right? So if it was an obvious question or an obvious answer to that question, it would have already been done after all these 10 years. So if I had to like, all right, but nevertheless, Marcel, you've talked yourself out of the answering this question and you really need to give an answer. I would say probably because Codeable has been very successful at almost auto promoting themselves in terms of mouth to mouth, the experts and etc. And the clients that have good experiences, they tell other people who have businesses about Codeable. Codeable is still pretty much unknown to a lot of people inside of the WordPress larger kind of like client expert community. And getting the word out there about the amazing work that every single expert do, it's absolutely it's super important. And I feel like when I come to Codeable and I see the webpage, and it has changed a lot, and a lot of things that I'm probably saying right now are a lot better today than they were 5 years ago. But I think there is still this kind of like more commercial, more marketing side of it that is probably missing in terms of attracting, creating leads, creating lead magnets, and just trying to get more and more and more people into Codeable. That's a lot easier said than done. I understand
Yes.
pretty much that. And it would be a possible answer for me to give you that doesn't feel that unjust after all these 10 years and every single decision that was made for the platform to grow and be where it is right now. So those are more humble 2 cents that I can sort of like contribute with.
It's a really great answer. I mean, I think that Codeable is one of the best kept secrets in WordPress. So I guess that's sort of like all I had, but I just wanted to ask you sort of like if you could sum up your Codeable journey in one sentence, what would it be?
This is the part where everybody knows that we didn't at all script this, because I don't have an immediate answer. I I think my summary would be being part of Codeable and the whole trajectory that I went through. The summary I would make is it is probably one of the best experiences I had in my life, especially because of all of the people that you meet along the way. That would be it.
All right, that was really beautifully said. Look, I really want to thank you so much for like doing this, and like I know you are always at work pretty much, so it's nice that you can take a bit of time out of your day to do this. I and the community really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And thanks everyone here who has been watching this episode. We have this Changing Life series every like 3 months. So stay tuned for the next episode, and we will have another really exciting expert that will be joining us and sharing their journey and how Codeable has changed their lives. So thanks again for being here, and thanks everyone for listening, and see you on the next one.